The Survival Guide to Life.
Hey guys, we got another episode of the Survival Guide to Life, and this week we have a real special episode, and we have two guests, Megan and Anna. Now, both of these wonderful women are entrepreneurs, and they started a cosmetic company, and I'll let them talk about their journey and what they've accomplished. So, can both of you kind of share your journey into the world of aesthetics and entrepreneurship and like how you guys got there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure. So I'll start. My journey actually started right after college. I am I've always been an entrepreneur. I minus 1 year of working for an advertising communications company. And a year into it, I met a doctor who was publishing a book on injectables, and I was featured on it. And my passion grew from there. And ever since then, I've been in the world of aesthetics, conducting programs, consulting, you name it. So that's how my journey got started.
Yeah. And I kind of have the opposite, right? I came from Fortune 500 company. I was with Allergan, the makers of Botox, which is how I actually met Anna like 10 years ago. And so I've been in the corporate world for a while. I was a global trainer. I was a sales rep and kind of worked my way up. And last year, I decided to kind of really thinking of wanting to go on my own. I felt kind of, as most people do in corporate, after a while, you start to feel really stifled and having that lack of creativity. And I talked to Anna and she was like, wait, this is a conversation. And so we decided to come together last year and relaunch the Cosmetic Solution, which is the current company that we work together on now. And it's a trifecta of success approach. We have a training academy where we train medical professionals, nurses, all the way to MDs, surgeons, anyone who wants to start their career in aesthetics. And then we also have our consulting portion where we work with anyone and everyone that's looking to really carve their path in aesthetics and take their next level approach and kind of take it a step forward. So we came together. She's teaching me the entrepreneurship. I bring a little more of that kind of, what Allergan and all these big companies have done. And it's been a really great journey. So we're about a year in almost, right, Anna? It'll be a year next month. So
That's really awesome. It seems like you guys sort of complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I had like some specific questions for each of you, but just right off the bat from what you told me, how was it like, during your first year, like coming together and like trying to manage everything as well as manage your friendship and not let like this business come in between?
That's actually something yeah, it's a great question. Part of what we strive for and part of our programs even is showing emotional intelligence and leadership. And so I think having that background for Megan, it's been, she's even trained in this department. For me, I've had to teach myself these things throughout the years of being an entrepreneur. I think that that's very important because you don't forget what the final goal is, and you realize that you're always going to put the friendship first. And it's not so much, it's also just keeping things separate, right? So understanding, I think that a lot of people can't do that. There's a crossover. They don't know how to separate a business relationship from a personal, and sometimes people even become friends along the way, and then that kind of gets muddled, right? A lot of the times they say don't hire your friends, right? But I think that with the amount of emotional intelligence and that her and I both came together in a way where we didn't have to have that. And I'm not saying every day is perfect, just like anybody that's working together or anybody that's in the room together, brother, sister, family, colleagues, anybody's going to have, it's just how we work through things that I think is critical. And owning up when one of us maybe is, not in the right, just listening, right? Listening and having that perspective, I think is very important. I think that at a younger age, I think is more difficult because I think some of these things you kind of train throughout as you get older, you get better at these things, hopefully, right? Because you're practicing and you're, so I think that having a partner at a younger age would have probably been a lot more chaotic. But I think that her and I managed really well because of the fact that we've had time to kind of establish
Oh, yeah.
an amazing career, and where she's been able to practice these things as a leader. And I've had to do the same myself as a leader. And I think my personal background too has taught me a lot of that as well, just because of I'm kind of like the rock for my family. And I think that I've had to learn to always have things in perspective and come things, as Megan would say, with gratitude. And I think that if you're grateful for the bigger picture, then the little things that along the way, they become very small.
Yeah. And for me, it's been like teaching emotional intelligence for a big company like that is very difficult, right? Because you're teaching sales reps, but you're also teaching VPs and people who are making millions of dollars a year. And it doesn't mean that they're overly, emotionally intelligent. And it's a process. Every day we have to wake up and like show up. And like Anna said, our friendship does come first, right? So like we're always trying to be thoughtful and making sure that, like, again, it's just I always say, like, if there's no negative intent behind, anything can be fixed. Anything can be fixed. Like, as long as there's no negative intent, there was no, like, it's always leading with positive intent and understanding that that person might just be having a day or and it's always just trying to have that understanding. It's not perfect. Anna and I communicate very differently. I'm very like out loud. I'm a little sick today. But normally I'm very outspoken. I say what I feel. There is what you see is what you get with me. And Anna's really more reserved. And so again, it goes back to kind of having that really great partnership, because where, she has areas of opportunity or my strengths and her strength, and her areas that, like, and vice versa. Right. So where I struggle, she kind of picks up the slack too. So it's been a great, like, little
very complimentary.
Yeah.
Very complimentary. And I think that's important too, because I feel like if, I feel like I have grown, you want to always, when you're picking a partner, and that can go for even personal, you want to have somebody in your life that's going to make you grow as a person, right? And so again, looking at the positives, just like there's areas of opportunity, but somebody that, not everybody is going to match up well, right? Like, just like in relationships, same thing with partnerships, right? I was lucky enough with Megan that I had already known her for quite some time. And I think that made it easier for me. And again, I knew that for me, I'm a very loyal and, like, I'm a kind-hearted person. I consider myself to be. And I know Megan is. So at the end of the day, I never felt like I was going to get into bed with somebody that was going to be malicious or have bad intent. And I think that she's a family. There's just a lot of attributes, just like you would with like a person you want to date. There's a lot of attributes that make a person, and seeing how they are with other people, seeing what they do for other people, and like how she was with me throughout her time at Allergan, and how she treated my business and how she cared, allowed me to know that, I wasn't going to go wrong with somebody like that. And that she brings that also to clients, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And we both have the very same vision and outcome, right? We both want the same thing in the
And we're
end.
both workaholics.
Yeah, and we're both insane work ethic. And if you have a work ethic and we vibe, and at the end of the day, I would rather have a cocktail with you than most people, we're good, and that's kind of how I vibe out. It's like, listen, like, if I, because we're both single. So again, we spend more time with each other. And Anna has a 5-year-old, and I'm like, I'd rather go hang out with Mila than like go on a date with some loser who I don't have anything in common with. I'd rather talk business and make money and focus on the outcome. And so to have somebody who has my drive and like the long-term vision that we want is so rare. And I think that also helps on the bad days too, when you're just kind of having a rough day. And for me, coming from corporate America, this has been a whole like different journey. And so it has been challenging, but learning from Anna and having her as a friend and a partner, and knowing that, like, the juice is worth the squeeze, and like what we're doing is setting ourselves up for like amazing success, but also what we're doing is the right thing to do by our clients and by our customers, and knowing that we have it and that passion, and just knowing that like what we're doing is the right thing, you know,
Yeah.
kind of.
And cosmetic was my baby, my very first real company in 2008. So for me, I've been very protective of it, and so for me to bring on a partner and to be able to trust somebody, it took a lot. Like I've met a lot of potentials throughout the way. I even tried one out in 2015. But again, it takes a special combination of a person. For me, because I think along the way, one of my biggest challenges was delegation. I always wanted to do everything and have my nose in everything, and until I went bananas and I shut down because like as my doctor would describe it, she said, you are battery full, like you no longer have like space, so look at it like that, and you need to start delegating. So I started that process. And so with that, I said, well, one of the things that, I've always wanted to do everything, right? But now I know I select the things, I focus on things, and I don't do things until I know that I can do them. And that's part of what with cosmetic is I kind of was still running it, but not the dream, right? And so when Megan came along and I knew that she was the personality type that could own a business and could, I don't have to worry or sleep, like I can sleep more. I don't have to carry 100% of the weight. Like I know somebody has that work ethic and not just that, but the experience, right? She comes from a lot of experience in what we're trying to do, because we're not just an academy for training. We also do consulting. And the consulting is something that for me is a beautiful thing. I really enjoy it. And to have a partner like her to be able to do it with and to be able to help businesses grow just beyond the education is exciting.
So I had like some specific questions for each of you. Like Anna, you describe yourself as a leader with like deep passion for empowerment. And with your role in empowerment, how has it played towards your entrepreneurship journey?
Well, I feel like alone to be an entrepreneur, I've had to empower, right, myself. There's people that have come into my life who've empowered me, but ultimately, my journey has been where, I've had to really do the work in my head and empower myself. And one of the things that I've seen in the industry, as I do these courses and they're entry level and all that, a lot of the times you have those that are very confident, but then there's those that are not. And when you enter a new world of something that you're excited about, a lot of the times there is that lack of confidence, even with the confident people. And one of the drivers for me has always been to see, because if somebody is trying to incorporate something brand new into their practice that they've never done before, to see them succeed through that process of training and consulting. And then for me, I've had the honor and pleasure to see that go beyond. Now in my 13th year of one of my other companies, I get to actually see the sons of the doctors who are now also doctors who took the course over 10 years ago. And so it's kind of empowering these people to do something new and to not feel, I've had millions of conversations with doctors who are like, I don't know that I can do this, or maybe I'll only do Botox because I don't get anything else. And now they're like incredible injectors and they're doing so much, right? And also from the patient perspective, I feel like Botox and fillers is beyond just the aesthetic. It's really empowering people to feel and look their best with non-surgical options. So looking at it from both perspectives is empowering the industry, because for me, like cosmetic, I have two other companies similar that parallel. One of them is dentistry. So empowering the dental community to grow, because when I got into this, I was one of the first dental academies in the country. So there was a lot of pushback and there was a lot of most of my job was just not even to sell the course. It was to sell the idea that this could even be. And now today we stand where it is, and it's very much a part of dentistry. Whereas back then it was like, what are you doing? You know, or very cutting edge doctors would do it, but like the mainstream guys were not. And so that empowerment and to know that I was a part of that movement is very exciting. So there's a lot of empowerment going on in different aspects, from the patients to the individual practices and their growth to the industry as a whole. And now it's exciting because now with Megan's help, I get to be more, because before I was just doing training for medical, but now we're actually doing courses in business for the medical professionals. So I get to live within a different industry as a whole, because we focus a lot on nurse practitioners and a lot of medical providers. And so it's going to be exciting within that realm too, to help them. And now there's even legalities changing where other types of practitioners can do these things, right? So nurses, you know, in certain states can do this. Hygienists in certain states now can do this. So continuing the empowerment and continuing that within different sectors, and it's exciting for people to be able to incorporate this exciting industry.
Then, Megan, innovation is usually associated with your work. How has innovation driven your success in the aesthetic industry? And then what type of advice would you give any up and coming entrepreneur who's trying to innovate in their industry?
Yeah, great question. I mean, innovation in our space from a technical perspective is huge, right? There's always a new device coming to the market. There's a new filler, there's a new toxin, there's something new and better to make you look younger and fresher, right? Which we love. So innovation from a technical perspective is massive, and that is obviously a whole separate side. But for us, I think the innovation and where we come in, to Anna's point earlier, is, you know, looking beyond just marketing and social media for our clients and going into the emotional intelligent realm, going into the leadership, crucial conversations, things that at my time at my company, we dabbled on, but Anna and I are taking it a step further, and we're really asking our clients, like, why they're doing this. Like, why are you even injecting? What is your goal? And you'd be very surprised of how many people are like, wow, no one's ever asked me that before. Yet they're doing $1 million a year, right? So it's just really, to me, that's innovative. To me, innovation is asking the right questions. To me, innovation is really taking all the other crap that everyone and every other consulting and marketing company will throw at you and getting to the core of the solution, and the core of the problem. Because if I know kind of what's wrong, but if I can pinpoint what really drives someone and drives their behavior, I can then shift and come up with strategies in order to make them more successful a lot faster. And I think for us, that's been something that we've gotten very many compliments on in our time with our consulting customers, is that they're like, wow, like no one is doing this. No one's talking to us about that. So for me, I love innovation from a technical perspective. It's important for us to teach innovative skills to our people, but from the consulting perspective, it's also allows us to be innovative in the way that we coach. Just how Anna and I have a business coach, we are business coaches to others, and we are really looking to take their mindset a step further and make them think in ways that no one's really been able to do. And we've seen the shift, and we've seen the outcomes and the results of that. And it's huge. I had a girl text me yesterday. I just hit my goal already for October, and it's only, you know, the 18th. And so a lot of that is getting to the core of her realizing that she can do this. So that's where like the empowerment that Anna spoke to would come in, the innovation of what we do. So, and advice, I think, my best advice is, number one, I mean, if you want to do something, do it. Like, don't let anyone ever let you think that you can't do something, because there's going to be a lot of people out there that are always like, you shouldn't do this. Anna has always been an entrepreneur. So for me, it was really scary to leave a very very comfortable job, making great money. And it took a lot. And still, when I have bad days, people are like, well, just go back to Allergan. It's like, oh my God, no, like you're not getting it, you know? So I think the best advice is keep going, know your end goal, know your passion, know your why. Because if you know why you get up every day and why you work 12 hours and why you are stressed or excited, whatever it is, like that will feed your soul in so many ways. And it helps kind of with the stress and the anxiety of starting something new and something that might be financially a little scary. And it's also just like we always say, like your tribe is your vibe, and have the right people around you and have the right crew that are going to lift you up and that are going to help you on days that you aren't feeling as confident, you aren't feeling as empowered. And to have a great, if you have the fortune to have a partner like I have with Anna, and how we build each other up and really build on top of that. And just knowing that you can do it, be fearless. And if you want something, you have one life, you should, do whatever the hell you want to make yourself happy, because life is short. And so, that's my spiel on my advice for any young entrepreneurs out there.
So both of you are trailblazers in the aesthetic industry. Is there something in particular that you're most proud of, or that or something that you guys achieved in your careers?
I mean,
I've had a long one, so
yeah, for me, I mean, I think, just to me, I have to remember how proud I am of days that, like, when I do have like a moment where I'm like, oh my God, was this the right decision? Or, oh my God, the money's not where it needs to be right now. It's really being proud of myself for honestly, like, taking the leap of faith and knowing that this is where I should be. And I think that I have to be really proud of myself for doing that. And I love to celebrate small wins. Anna will tell you that too. So it's also just celebrating the small things, not just the big things. But for me, we closed something, not even huge, but it was a really great connection. I'm not going to mention it now because we're still in early stages, but it was something that it's a partnership with another company where we're going in to consult for injectors. And it was a lot of pushback, and it was a lot of up and downs. And we've already had like 11 people confirm and sign up. And it's been stressful, but for me, that's been something that I'm super proud of. And then also where we're going, the things that Anna and I have to launch in November. I'm really proud of the content. I'm proud of where it's going, and I'm proud of what we've done thus far, because I know that we've really helped people. And to get those text messages and calls from women that we've helped, it's like, that's what, feeds my soul. And I know I'm in the right space doing it. And I think that's just something to be super proud of. So
I think for me, when I started Dental Spa, which is my dental academy on injectables, I had just come off like leaving another company. So for me, that I'm proud of myself for doing it, and for hustling, and for working nonstop and doing that. But I'm also proud of year 3, because, they always say I was terrified until year 3, because it had, this was one of my first businesses that was operating with several people. And so one thing that once I hit year 3, I felt, okay, this is like here to stay. I'm doing this. I won a Stevie Award around 2014, 2015 for Young Female Entrepreneur of the Year, which was also very rewarding. And getting through COVID, being able to manage through that. And everybody said, I can't believe you're going to do a symposium in 2020. Well, guess what? It was one of my best symposiums I ever had. That's my annual meeting. It was a very scary thing, but I did it. Everybody else was doing online stuff, and I did a live meeting, and it was fantastic. It turned out great because every person was dying to do something, was dying to be in person. And so I kind of took a different approach than other companies, and I had one of the most successful annual symposiums. So, those are 3 examples. I'm sure there's others. I'm not as good as Megan at celebrating my wins, although she has helped me be better at that, because she'll make me celebrate the small wins. That's one thing that I've had to teach myself, is take a moment to, like, I never, like, I could say that I've had probably now in the hundreds and hundreds of nice emails, testimonials, things that doctors have said to me. And back then, now I actually enjoy them a little bit. Before, I was just like, it didn't give me the, it almost propelled it. All it did was propel me to continue doing more and working more. I didn't allow myself to, like, just feel the joy that does come from that, right? Because there is a certain joy that you get from achieving something. So trying to get better at that. But So that was a harder question for me to answer. I had to go back all the way to like big instances, right?
Yeah. But I think in corporate America, they force you to kind of celebrate the small wins. And sometimes that's all you have to celebrate. And managing a team like I did at Allergan, I had to pump them up. And so I had to learn, I didn't always do that, right? I didn't always, but I always had to learn that for my team, is to celebrate, you know, this thing, because a lot of people really feed off of that energy. And then I was like, you know, this is worth celebrating. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Just be like, hey, great job. Thank you. This is freaking awesome. You know what I mean? Those small little things can really make or break someone's day. And so I always think it's important to kind of highlight when you do get something, a great text message or an email, to say, you know what, good job, you know? Like,
And I think that because of Megan, I've gotten better at that. Even with my other employees or my other companies, I try to take a step back, and not everybody needs it as much, but I have certain people
Yeah.
that are my employees that do need that really feel good with that. And it's like the easiest thing you can do in the world, right? To tell somebody like, wow, and to know it. And the thing is, for a person like me, nothing goes unnoticed. So I do. So that's where I've had to kind of learn to express, because if you take me out of a room and you say, for example, describe this person that works for you, right? Let's say, example for Megan, Jason, right? I will speak volumes about this person and how amazing they are and everything they do. But what I was not doing was I wasn't telling them, right? So even with Megan, when I talk about Megan to other people when she's not in the room, oh my God, like I express how I feel, but maybe I don't do it as much to Megan, right? So that's always been my problem, even in personal relationships, where I do see it. It doesn't go unnoticed. I feel just like as everybody, but I'm not as I'm more reserved, right? So I'm not like, and that's something that I continuously work through, because I know that's something that is positive in every relationship I can have, is to and I've gotten better, way better. I used to just be so funnel focused, and now I do that. And the more people I have in my life that also do that, I think it also helps. So having Megan so close, I think automatically always reminds me, like she compliments me on something and I'll be in my office and I'll be like, hey, amazing job at this, like I so.
So then, finally, what legacy do you guys hope to leave in the aesthetic industry? And then what message would you like to share to the listeners who are aspiring to like make a meaningful impact in their own entrepreneurial journey?
yeah, I mean, for me, my whole why and my journey is to really empower and give confidence to, and our journey in cosmetic is empower and give confidence to injectors, aesthetic business owners, because it's a tough industry. But if you know what you want, you can have anything. And I really want that. People have taken such a chance on me in my life, and I feel very responsible to give back to others as well. And I love, women helping women and building each other up and giving them a platform and giving them a space to really feel comfortable and to feel celebrated, and to also have candid conversations about how we can make things better and how they could be better. And those are the conversations that in my head and in my heart, I know are the ones that are making me a better person, and they're making Anna a better person. They're making our customers and our clients a better person, and better injectors and better business owners. And for me, that's the legacy I want to be at, is just that if you tell me where you want to be and let's do it, and hold yourselves accountable, and empowerment is huge. And I think to just anybody who knows that they should be doing something else with their life than what they're currently doing now, get a side hustle. If you can't leave full time, that's cool, but like have a side hustle, do something that makes you joy. And if you can make a little money on that, fantastic, until you're ready to pivot and leave and do something full time. But there'll never be a good time to fully jump in to anything that you're scared of. So you might as well just do it and throw your hustle and passion at it. And if you really are meant to do something, there's no option to fail. And I fully believe that. Like, if you're meant to do something, and I know in my heart I'm meant to do this, and I was getting very stifled at my corporate job, and I had people like Anna empower me, and I know like this is where I'm supposed to be, and you just got to keep going, so.
For me, the legacy that Megan just spoke about with women empowerment, I think is huge. That's something that I've always been drawn to. I even did charity work with like Women of Tomorrow because I really loved getting on stage and talking to these underserved areas and women. And so I'm a minority, I'm a woman, you know, I'm Hispanic, you know, there's a lot of things that I've always wanted to pay it forward. And so now with the new, with cosmetic and the new avenues and the people that we're getting to meet, to empower women within the space that I am passionate about is very exciting because, you know, there's room for empowerment and, you know, not just with young girls, right? So to me, like getting to do that now more frequently in my journey with cosmetic is very important. And as far as the legacy that I feel that has already been left behind, which is very something I do allow myself to feel proud of. You know, as a young entrepreneur, it was very difficult for me to admit that I was an owner of a dental academy. And so that goes way back. I didn't even put my name as an owner till like recent few years, right? And I think part of that, you know, was just, I always wanted to fill the shoes, right? And so, but one of the legacies I would say is for me on the dental side is having grown the industry and really today sitting as one of the only academies for dentists that has been around for as long as it has, for 13 years. Something that was very, like, we didn't know it was going to actually be. And so I think that's a huge legacy when I walk through shows and I'm almost known as that girl that like helped bring in Botox and fillers into dentistry. And I think that's a huge legacy.
That's great. I wanted to thank both of you for your time. You guys seem like such amazing, successful women who are like hardworking and like we're always striving to be better. And I'm sure that like any young girl would like take you or want to be like you guys, you know?
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for having us too. It's always good to talk about these things because it does kind of fuel us. And to Anna's point, sometimes we don't take the, you know, minute to kind of talk about what we love and why we're here. And so thank you for giving us the platform to do so.
Yeah,
So appreciate it.
Yeah,
Couldn't
no,
have-
and I was just gonna say, no, just like from what you guys told me and like how you guys are doing everything, you guys should be very proud of yourselves. And you know,
Thank you.
not many women, especially in now times, are work that hard in trying to achieve something for their own selves, you know? A lot of them are really afraid or like try to stay in a bubble. I come from a family that's like all my cousins are girls, all my sisters are girls, all my nieces. I don't have any nephews, so
Ah.
yes. So it's really cool to see that.
Well, it's easy to stay in a bubble and in a comfort zone. Even if you're an entrepreneur, you can do that, right? So like for me, being an entrepreneur and setting and being comfortable with what I was doing with Dentist Spa and just repeating the same thing over and over again, that's a bubble too that I had to break through and say, no, it's time to go and do the next goal and to really put your heart into something new. So I think that there's always a time where we have to reflect and know when we need to step out of that bubble and go into our passion and to our goals.
Mentally, spiritually, financially, consistently.